Hello and welcome to another video by myself, Chris from Sorare on a Budget. Tonight I'm going to be taking a look at some more threshold players. Anybody who remembers a few years ago when we had about 3 general elections in the UK, the fine lady on the screen here was a household hit everywhere with her, what, yet not another one? So yeah, I thought I would go with that. That's my terrible impression of her. So yeah, just a quick review of the thresholds, what they are. I think we all know them by now. 205 points will get you the 0.018, which at the minute is 35 quid. It's not to be sniffed at. Now, when I first started, that was more than what the 0.02 was worth. If you score more than 250, you'll get 0.02, as I just mentioned, but that is now worth 70 quid as the Ethereum market has hit all-time highs. So that's kind of what they are, and that's why a lot of people are now trying to aim for them, which is having a massive knock-on effect to the rare market. Now, there's obviously a lot more managers buying cards now and owning cards, but the prices are increasing. A few weeks ago when I did the last video here, you've been able to build a team quite comfortably for under, say, 0.12. That's maybe not necessarily the case. You can bargain hunt, and you can find some players. So what I've done in tonight's video is I've got 8 defenders, 8 midfielders, and 6 forwards. These prices were correct as of 8 p.m. tonight. Now, a couple of bits of housekeeping before I go on. If you're new to Sorare, you can join up on the link on the screen. It will be in the description below, which is www.sorareonabudget.com. That'll take you straight to the Sorare website where you can sign up. You'll get your 10 free common cards, which you can use in the casual league. And once you've bought 5 cards from the new card auctions, you'll get a free card which you can sell, or you can use it in your game weeks if it's something that fits your team. If you're new to the channel and you've not subscribed to the YouTube channel already, please subscribe below. It would be a massive help to me. Just trying to keep producing the content, and trying to hit the 1,000 subscribers threshold, which would be amazing. So if you've not done so already, please could you hit the subscribe button? That'd be great. Thank you very much. And the player on the right hand side here, Hans van der Bruggen, he is a giveaway. I paid nearly, I think I paid 66 quid for this card. It's now sitting at value to over 85, and I'm giving it away. And that's to mark hitting 2,500 followers on Twitter. So if you head over to my Twitter page, which is at Sorare on a Budget, you'll find it pinned to the top of my profile, and you can enter there, and the draw will be done this coming weekend. The details on that are on the page. I think it's Friday night, but just double check. So without further ado, I'm going to dive right in. I've got quite a lot of players to cover off. I have got my trusty pad, which I sat and I wrote out some details on the players. So first and foremost, I'm going to take a look at the defenders. Now, the search that I did for these was slightly different. I want to try and incorporate a few more. So this time around, I've looked for players who'd played at least 4 of the last 5 games, and had started at least 4 of the last 5 games. So that could mean they've played all 5 but only started 4. It could mean that they've only played 4 but they've started all 4. I wanted to include players that have maybe been suspended, have maybe just come back from injury, because I was finding that some of the prices were getting a wee bit crazy and a wee bit high. So the prices that you'll see on screen, those prices are the 3-day average, so not necessarily the market price at the moment. The reason I've changed that is within a few minutes or within a couple of hours of the videos coming out, the prices that I had up as the lowest market prices changed dramatically. So I wanted to try and use a bit more of a benchmark figure. Plus today's rewards day, so sometimes people put up rewards a little bit cheaper. So I want to get this video out tonight, so you can maybe go and find a bargain. So the first one I've got up on the screen is Bart van Hintem. Now, the last 5, he's played all 5 and has an average of 58. And the last 15, he has an average of 51. Now, that's only from 9 games in the last of those. But he has started 4 of the last 5 games. His average price for the last 3 days 0.025. It's the cheapest of all the defenders I've got listed in the video. I tried to keep it under 0.05. I know that's a lot more than previous videos. But as I say, the rare market is increasing in price, and it does become more of a challenge to try and find those players. Now he plays for Groningen. He's predominantly left back, has played at centre back as well. I think 7 games, 4 were left back and 3 were centre back. So pretty decent, pretty steady. Good scores for the last few games there. So maybe one worth having a wee look at, especially if you're trying to get in on the, on the lower end of things. So the next one I've got, I'm going to butcher the first name. I know his surname's Haps. Regiciano Haps. I don't know. We'll give it a go. You'll know who I'm talking about. He is at Venezia in Italy. As many of the Sorare favourites moved here in the summer. He's got a last 5 of 53, and that's having started 4 of the last 5 and 1 substitute appearance. Last 15 of 49. That's only from 47% of games, but since he's moved, he has played all the time. 0.04 was his price on the market when I was looking earlier on. Pretty decent price, sitting in the Serie A, so it was champion Europe. Obviously, you can use that in the All-Star League as well. But so a bit of extra utility there for him that way. I should mention as well, I've used players that their winter breaks aren't the 2 months. So there's no Austrian players, there's no Russian players, nothing like that. It's predominantly the Dutch and the Belgian, with a sprinkling of some Champion Europe players dotted in amongst it as well. So I should mention that. I should have mentioned that up front, but I've not. So next one, I've got Jean-Charles Castelletto. From Nantes, plays centre back. He's only missed 2 games all season. He has had 4 yellow cards though, but his scores there: last 5 of 48, last 15 of 49, and his price was 0.042. So pretty decent price for another Champion Europe defender. And again, if you're looking to hit those thresholds, I mean, it goes without saying, I'm not going to say that for every player. I've done that in previous videos, but the players I've listed in here, the minimum average for them was 45, but I tried to keep it a little bit higher. The next one, speaking of a little bit higher, is the man in the card on the right-hand side, Rida Halamia. He's from Beerschot. Right back, he has been a regular. His last couple of games have been really high scores. I recommended him to a mate, and I didn't get him myself. Thanks for jumping in on my video there. Updates. Yeah, so I recommended him to a mate. He picked him up for about 0.03 a few weeks ago, and has turned in some decent results. I think it was a 70 at the weekend he scored. Last 5 of 52, last 15 of 48 there. So pretty solid scores. And yeah, I mean, Beerschot are struggling at the bottom, but their form hasn't been too bad the last few games. So are they turning the corner? Could they push on and what have you? But at this point in the season, there's absolutely no need to concern yourself with relegation worries. All these players, I would be looking to try and upgrade from them. So you use them, you earn your thresholds, and then you can start to either, withdraw your stake or you start to upgrade your players. That's generally the way that I've done it since the start. Next one was Bart Vreens from Sparta Rotterdam. Plays as centre back. He's an ever present. He's played every minute. Reliable. He scored a couple of goals there as well. Averaging 51 for the last 5, 48 for the last 15. 0.04 was the average price in the market at the time. Then we come to Lawrence de Bock. Now, he is from Zultwaregem, centre-back and captain. He missed 5 games through injury, but he's come back from injury and has reclaimed his place and the captain's armband. Last 5 of 48 and last 15 of 47, and an average price of 0.044. Next one was Mika Pinto. I think he featured in one of the early videos, and then he hadn't played for a few weeks, and that was through injury and suspension. So he had 2 suspensions. He had a yellow card suspension, and he also had, I think he had a red card suspension. So that affected his price at the time. So he's down to 0.032, which is one of the cheaper ones, but the last 3 games, the last 4 games he started them. So no, I was right. The last 3 games he started them all and played them. So it's last 5 of 46, last 15 of 47. And the final one there is a captain for Go Ahead Eagles. Obviously, they had a great result at the weekend there against Ajax, with a 0-0 draw away to Ajax. So a wee bit of a surprise package. Obviously, newly promoted side. He's a left back. He is a captain, as I say, and an ever present. So last 5 average of 48, last 15 of 45, and a price of 0.035. So those are pretty, it's a pretty decent price. Oh, he does have an assist as well to his tally. But as you can see, the prices are a little bit higher than the previous video, and that's not necessarily through choice. It is through the market having jumped up somewhat there. So moving on to the midfielders. The first one, again, I don't know why I do this to myself, to be honest. We'll go with Marco Elena Haritra. Big Marco. He is the captain at Sorare in the Belgian league. Plays defensive midfield. He missed 4 games early on in the season, but he's been back since then. Now, his last 5 are only 45, but his last 15 is 51. So he's playing slightly below himself at the moment. But the 3-day average, 0.049. So yeah, I mean, he's the captain, more than likely going to start. That's the great thing about the captains is, they tend to be less likely to be dropped, less likely to be a DMP unless it's through injury. Next one here, again, another Rotterdam player, Brian Smeets. Excuse me. Last 5 of 52 and last 15 of 49, and his price there was 0.045. Now, he's an attacking midfielder. He's played all 12 games this season. He's got 2 goals and 2 assists. So that's a pretty solid pickup, especially around the 0.045. I mean, if you break it into, actual currency, you're probably talking about 150 quid. So that's a lot of money. But he is getting, decent scores. It's the best average of all the midfielders I've got in the video. The next one is Samuel Bastien from Standard Liège, centre midfield. 13 starts and 1 substitute appearance. So played 14 games in all. 1 goal and 1 assist. Last 5 of 45, last 15 of 44, 0.039. So, quite consistent. Would you like that to be a little bit higher? Yes, you absolutely would. But, when we're trying to keep the price down as well, so it's just factoring everything in. Now, we're moving into Spain here. We've got Omar Mascarell from Elche, defensive midfielder. He's played 10 out of 11 games this season. He's had 1 substitute appearance, and the rest of them have all been starters. Last 5 of 46 and last 15 of 42, 0.034. So that's quite cheap. And again, it's, it is Champion Europe, and the Spanish league are playing right through. That tail end of December, when there's going to be teams that aren't playing. The Spanish league is. So that's one to maybe bear in mind, because some of these Spanish players at the end of December are going to become more desirable as people fear, not playing a game week or 2. So, that's one thing to bear in mind with them. You might pick them up just now and get some decent scores out of them, and then maybe look to sell in 6 weeks when the other leagues are all done for a couple of weeks or for a couple of months for some of them. Peter Gerkens, the next one, he's an attacking midfielder for Antwerp. He's played 13 of 14 games this season, 10 of them as starts. Last 5 of 46 and last 15 of 42, just the same as Omar's, 0.033, so very similar prices. But yeah, I mean, again, he's only missed 1 game all season, and I believe it said on Transfer Market, I can't honestly remember. I think it did say it was an injury. Next one is Montoro. He is from Granada, centre mid, played 12 games this season, 8 starts and 4 substitutes, 1 goal. That's why you'll see the last 15 showing a little bit lower, because you did have a fair few substitute appearances there. but the last wee while he has started more so. So last 5 of 47, and last 15 of 39, 0.02, which was quite surprising. Again, some of these lesser teams are maybe less desirable for people to pick players up from, but that's where you can always find good value in them. Next one is Matus Berro. He last 5 of 47 as well. Last 15 of 38. Price 0.034. Now he plays for Vitesse, centre midfield. He's played 9 out of 12. Now the reason he's played 9 out of 12 is this lad. It wasn't the previous one I said had a suspension for reds and yellows. It was Big Matus. So he's been suspended on 2 occasions in the first part of the season. However, what he does have, he missed 1 game through injury. What he does have going for him as well is he has the Europa Conference League as well. So you've got that midweek utility there as well. So for that price, 0.034, that's not a bad pickup. So long as he can maybe rein in his discipline a wee bit and stop getting himself sent off or booked all the time, that would probably help his price quite considerably. And the last one on the midfielders is Oscar Valentin, last 5 of 49. We don't have last 15 data because he's from Rayo Vallecano and they just got promoted, so there isn't last 15 data in full. He's played 4 of last 5, 11 appearances in all, so he's missed 1 game, I believe. 7 starts and 4 substitutes. Price 0.03. Again, it's another Spanish league player that's, got a bit of utility over that end of December period. So I would genuinely expect a lot of the Spanish leagues players to, I think it's the Portuguese and Turkish are 2 of the other ones that are right through. So it might be worth keeping an eye on some of those leagues and some of those players, because you will probably find a wee bit of demand for them or an increased demand for them at the end of December, heading into the new year. Now I'm going to move on to the forwards. The first one I've got is Nolito, who is in the picture there. The reason he was actually in the last video as well, his price has gone up from 0.04 to 0.05. He got a goal at the weekend. He's played all 13 games this season, so he hasn't had a DNP. 9 starts and 4 substitutes, which kind of reflects in the last 15 being 36. But last 5 of 44, that's obviously influenced by the goal at the weekend. I think a couple of the guys who had posted up on Twitter today about hitting the higher thresholds, having bought teams for under, I think they were both 0.114. Nolito was the forward, and it's he scored a goal at the weekend, and I mean, it's a massive help when you get decisives. But yeah, 0.05 for somebody that plays every game as a forward. I mean, it's getting you the points on the board, so it's hard to argue. I'm going to say, is it Taichi Hara from Saint-Trurin in the Belgian league, centre forward, on loan from Alaves in Spain. Now he is also 22, so he's got, I believe he's got under 23. Well, he will have under 23 eligibility. Since he's moved, he's played in full the last 5 games. He's got a goal to his name as well, 0.055, and as you can see, last 5 of 48 and the last 15 of 33. Ruben Sobrino is the next one. He plays for Cadiz, having moved from Valencia in the August transfer window. Last 5 of 45, last 15 of 38, price 0.065. Obviously, when it comes to the forwards, I had to increase the price. It is what it is. If you want to start in one, you're going to have to pay a little bit more. If you want one that maybe will play, maybe won't play, but that could affect you actually hitting the threshold or not, you could go cheaper, but you start to gamble at that point, and I'd rather look to players that are actually playing as opposed to taking a punt on something. So he's had 1 assist since he moved to Cadiz. He's been a regular as well. I think in his first 3 games were at Valencia, and he only had 1 substitute appearance out of those 3 games. But since he's moved, he's been on the park more often than not. Next one is Cedric Itten. Now he is playing in Germany just now for Greuther Fürth. and he's on loan from Rangers. I can say Rangers, it's a bit more difficult with some of these other ones. But since he's moved, he's played all 8 games, 6 as a start. First 2 games were where he was kind of just breaking into the team, and since then he's been a regular. He's got 2 goals to his name. He is playing for the worst team in the league. I believe I've seen it on one of the German football sites that they've had the worst start to a Bundesliga season ever, which is impressive for the wrong reasons. But Itton's still got 2 goals. Price point 0.06. That's probably reflected in the fact he's not going to get a lot of chances. But he started the last, he started 6 games. I believe it's the last 5 he's played as well as a starter. So last 5 of 45, last 15 of 39, 0.06. Not a bad price, to be perfectly honest. Again, it's in the German league, so you've got more Champion Europe option there as well. Next one on the list was Dino Hotic. He's from Cercle Bruges. Plays as a winger, left or right. I think he's even played as an attacking mid. Last 5 of 50, last 15 of 42. He's played in all the games this season. However, 8 of them are starters, 6 are substitutes. So he's almost at a 50-50 whether he's starting or he's substitute. But he is getting on the park, and he is getting in amongst decent scores, because even though he's been a sub for half of those, as you can see, he's still averaging 42 for the last 15. So it is a wee bit of a roulette whether he is going to start or not. So that's one to bear in mind. But if it avoids you a DMP and he can come off the bench and at least score you 30-35 points, great. If you can get a start and be scoring 50s and 60s, even better. Last one on the list, Michael Deleu from Groningen. Last 5 of 46, last 15 of 43. He's played in all 12 games this season. He's got 9 starts. He started the last 5. He's only got 1 goal to his name, so he's not got many decisives. But as you can see, 0.054 was the average price for him. So if you're looking for a forward, again, that's playing fairly regular, and he's got the highest last 15 average of them all, that's not a bad price to pick up at. So I've kind of rattled through those ones. You obviously want to go back and take some notes. I did get a wee bit of a suggestion on Twitter about maybe including pictures of each of the players. So what I might do going forward is a slide for each player with some bit more detailed stats on it. Might come in quite handy rather than you just having to listen to my nonsense. So yeah, maybe look at doing that going forward. Thanks to everybody who has subscribed to the channel and followed on Twitter. If you've got any ideas for upcoming videos, I'll happily take them on board. Obviously, the next week and a bit, we've got the international break. So I'm probably not going to do another threshold video before the next full game week in about 10 days time. But I am looking to do at least a couple of videos a week. So if you've got any suggestions, fire me a DM, and obviously I can take that from there. As I mentioned before, you can sign up at SorareOnABudget.com. That'll take you straight to the Sorare website. You'll get 10 free players. You get a free card when you buy 5 from the new card auctions. And if you've not subscribed to the channel already, please do so. And you can follow me on Twitter at SorareOnABudget. So I've tried to keep it fairly brief. 22 players for you to go and look at. And it'll be interesting to see if any more people have picked up players from the videos, how you've got on. I do love getting the feedback on the Twitter page there. So thank you very much for your time. And I will speak to you all again soon, probably later on in the week. Cheers again.